Is it working? Okay. Okay, have you thought of a couple? Or you've thought of your 50 and now we get to talk about how to whittle them down? Both are totally fine. Both are totally fine. What are your dreams is the perfect one, actually? Perfect, thank you. You can share if you want. I will not make you. But did you find something that you think you could maybe get excited about? Probably? Okay. Okay. So a lot of times we embrace this new thing. We decide that we do indeed want to try something new. So I want to show you guys this thing called the steps of creation. And it is exactly what I just called it. So the first step, and I promise I really will come back to Walt Disney. I have not forgotten him. Okay, so we have the steps of creation. The first step is a thought. So in our thought, well, first we're going to draw a handy little stick figure with a person and a smile. Okay, so the first part of our minds is the conscious, and the second part of our minds is the subconscious. And our thoughts generally start here based on an observation. So we see something happens. The story that I like to share is I was walking into the library today getting ready for this. This did not happen, but it could have happened. I'm walking into the library today to prepare for this presentation, and I trip and I fall. So my observation is that I fell. And so the next step, so this first step is, so I have a thought. And this thought drops down into there. And this thought is, I am the clumsiest person on the face of this planet. And I never do anything right, and I have hurt myself, and life is awful. So then our next step is our subconscious programs. So I observe, I fell down, oh, I must be clumsy. So then I have this thought, this subconscious program down here that tells me I am an epic klutz. I have just always been this way because whenever something matters or something is really important, I fall down, I drop something, something breaks, I make a mess. Because when I was little, that happened to me once when I was 3, and so now for the rest of my life, I am for sure and certain that that's just how I roll, that's just how I work. And what? Sadly, I don't. I have never rolled.
Then it becomes a stunt.
I like this plan. We're using that. We're using that in just a minute. That's brilliant. Okay, so our next one is, because in this case I didn't roll, next go around I'm totally gonna roll. So because this time I didn't roll, this subconscious thought that I had goes down into my heart. And because I'm saying that I'm klutzy, and I'm broken, and I'm flawed, and all of these things, then all of a sudden that starts affecting my mood. That affects how I feel. And as I'm feeling rather, I'm going to draw a little sad face next to my heart, because I feel sad. I now start acting in a certain way because I feel sad. Because something happened, now I am feeling very disheartened and I'm feeling sad, and so the energy that I'm putting out, the actions that I'm putting out, are now sad. I feel sad because of this. After the actions, I then start affecting my experiences. There's this thing over here, and because I was sad, and I acted in a sad way, so I trip and fall, I come in telling myself that I'm a horrible fool that is so klutzy. I come in here, that then colors my entire presentation to you guys. And so then I go home and my husband goes, "How was your day?" And I go, "It was a rotten, no good, bad day. I'm gonna go eat worms." And so then the experiences that I'm having are also sad. Because me feeling sad caused me to have interactions that were sad that then bring experiences back to me. So now that thing is sad. My environment is sad. My husband is sad because I just said that I had a rotten, no good, crummy bad day. He, having no idea that I tripped and fell at 10 o'clock this morning, is going, what's wrong? And so then you have a response back. So my environment is bringing an experience back to me because of what I put out. And then I'm going to tilt this just a little bit. Now I have a choice. There's this little line right here. And I can accept or reject what I just got back. So I got back that I'm a horrible klutz, and then that must mean that I'm a horrible person because I hurt my husband's feelings because I had a bad day at 10 o'clock this morning, and so then I have a choice. My life is awful because I fell down at 10 o'clock this morning. Have you guys ever had a day like that? Like, you don't even know what it is that caused it. Just some silly little thing made your entire day awful. You just created a day. You didn't realize it, but how you responded, how your brain interpreted it, took it into your heart, how your heart worked with it, then spit it back out, sent it to the environment, and the environment interacted with it in a certain way, then brings it back to you to tell you your life is horrible. There's too many frowny faces in this version though, so let's try something different. What if we want to create something good? And this also is a perfect example of what happened when I was in Disneyland. I get to Disneyland, I see how expensive everything is, and I go, Disneyland is too expensive. This is a rotten place. I hate being here. I was never meant to come here. And so I leave Disneyland thinking that it's a horrible, rotten place that I was never meant to come here. Let's try it again. We'll start with my falling example, shall we? Okay. There's my conscious, there's my subconscious, there's a gorgeous little stick figure with a heart. Okay, so I observe something. I observe that I just fell down outside. I go, I roll. See, that's where this comes in. I roll, I'm falling, I roll, I turn it into a stunt. Life is absolutely fantastic. I jump up, I set my stuff up. We have a wonderful class here today. You all leave feeling beautifully enlightened. I go home and say, life is fantastic. I'm a glorious, wonderful mentor. I love my life. My husband goes, oh, you're fantastic. You love your life. I love my life. Life is great. And then I move forward saying my life is wonderful. Because something came in, I had a thought, I rolled, pulled a stunt, had an emotion, life is great. So I sent, life is great. I interacted with my environment, life is great. So then I got back, life is great. So now let's take this to the next time I go to Disneyland. Ready? I'm going to stroll confidently into Disneyland going, I know exactly what I want. I want a Mickey Mouse sundae, and I want 2 Dr. Peppers. One of them should be a float. And I'm going to make sure we actually get a float this time. And then I'm going to wander around and check out every different place there because I'm so happy to be there. And I'm excited to see what I'm going to discover. And I'm going to meet lots of amazing people because I am putting out in my heart that I'm in a great place and I want other people to be in a great place too. So ultimately, when I ask you what your dreams are and I ask you what happens when you say no instead of yes, is your initial instinct to say no because something happened once that tells you you always have to say no? So under your list of all the things that you wanted to say yes to, or because you said yes to a lot of things, I want you to answer 2 questions. You can choose either one of them, actually. So choose number 1 or choose number 2. 1, do you feel fulfilled, or do you think you can feel fulfilled by the things that you wrote down? Or 2nd, why did you want to say no so badly? And I want you to take a minute and just think about, what is it in your life that told you that you needed to say no?
what is it in our life that what?
So why do you feel you need to say no to something that you want to do? Or why have you always said no to something you want to do? So that was the second one. The first one is, why have you chosen so many but never done any of them?
And the first one what?
So the first one is, because our delightful friend over on the other side asked, what if you say yes to everything? So if you say yes to everything, how come you haven't done all of them yet?
Would you write the sentences on the board
Oh,
of like
certainly.
what you just said to ask yourself about each one? Because
I also think that I changed it the second time I said it, so I'll write down a good mid-range one. So number 1. And you get extra points for reading my handwriting.